congressman, and he faces that decision, and he joins us now from Capitol Hill. Congressman, great to see you. Does the government get shut down or not? What do you say?
You know what? I hope it doesn't, but we're actually waiting on the Senate to see if they'll do any work at all. So far, there have been 3 resolutions last year to the Senate and 2 so far this year sent over to the Senate, and they've yet to pass a thing. So we're kind of waiting to see what they're going to do.
Are you okay with any deal that gets sealed that doesn't cut the full $61 billion that House Republicans voted in favor of?
You know what? That depends on what's in that deal. I want to see the copy of what we're actually cutting. If they want to cut $33 billion and all of it's out of Obamacare, I'd vote for that.
But you know that's probably not going to happen, is it?
You know, that's what I'm saying. It depends on what's in it. And so we'll have to look and see the copy and what they're actually proposing. So far, the Senate's been unwilling to propose anything and to put themselves out there and to say this is what we're all about.
Well, give us an idea of what you would be comfortable with, a number and what's in it.
I don't know that there is a number. I like cutting spending, and honestly, we've had a strategy going on saying we sent $61 billion over there, and then they wouldn't pass that initially, so we sent over $2 billion a week for the last 5 weeks. We've been cutting $2 billion a week. If we want to be able to fund defense and get that out of the way so our soldiers aren't having to worry about being paid and we're not having to deal with how we're going to fund a third war now that's going on, we can get that settled. I don't mind just kind of bleeding it out the rest of the year and saying let's just start taking off $2 billion a week. If they won't pass $61 billion at a time, let's do it a little bit at a time, but let's get this done. The key for me is let's start bending down the expense on it.
Congressman, let's talk even bigger numbers. Congressman Paul Ryan's budget proposal, longer-term budget proposal, cuts $6.2 trillion from the president's budget, but it does go into overhauling Medicare, overhauling Medicaid in very dramatic ways. Broadly speaking, are you in favor of it? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, I would give you thumbs up. In fact, I'm on that budget committee. I just left out a press conference where all of us were standing there with Paul Ryan saying we're on this committee and we're all in it together in this. The reality is Americans over the last several months have been saying you're talking about cutting $61 billion just out of this small little piece of discretionary spending. Who's going to start dealing with the big picture? Those of us in the budget committee were saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We're working on it. Well, I can say today we've launched it out. Americans send us here to do big ideas. We're taking on the big ideas. We've got to get solutions.
Do you believe, though, that the American people, even members of the Republican Party, people who voted for you, will get behind those very, very dramatic ideas to fix Medicare and Medicaid?
I do. I think the big issue right now is let's focus on the big issues. If we come out and say here's a small idea, people are going to say why are you doing something small when the times require doing something significant? Now, this is not big drastic cuts. This is a significant change in the way that we do business in Washington, in the way that we're handling things. And so that's what we've got to shift. It doesn't deal with anybody 55 years old and older. There are no changes in Social Security, no changes in Medicare for them. So it locks in those that have been counting on it to make sure we're protecting that. But for those younger, they already know it's not going to be the same when they get there. So you can't find someone young and say, oh, yeah, there's going to be no changes. So we've got to start stabilizing this for the future, and that's going to involve a radical shift. We can't afford to keep doing this.
Congressman James Lankford of Oklahoma. Take care, Congressman. It's great to see you. Please come back.
Hey, thanks. Glad to help.
Okay, let's go to a market.